Good evening. Welcome to Fireforge. My name is Brian Cendrowski. I am co-founder of Fireforge, along with my wife, Nicole Cendrowski. We're joined today by Harvin Bedenbaugh, the Craft Beer Chick of Greenville.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, thank you for coming and enjoying a nice fire with us. We're starting a new video series that we're calling Fireside Chats with Fireforge. A casual conversation amongst friends. So we invite you to join us. Given that this is episode 1, we thought maybe it might be nice to kind of talk a little bit about the origins of Fireforge, an origin story, if you will. So Harvin has been so gracious to join us as a moderator to focus our conversation, because Nicole and I tend to ramble, as you can tell that I have just done. And I'm going to turn it over to Harvin. So Harvin, cheers.
Cheers to you as
Thanks
well.
for coming.
Cheers. Thanks for having me here, guys.
Cheers.
Yeah.
We want to start out with a really basic question. One that's relevant to everyone who's ever going to consume a Fireforge beer. What do you feel is the meaning of life?
What is best in life is to never mind.
Okay, all right.
I was going to quote something from Conan the Barbarian, and then I lost it.
Oh,
So I
okay.
apologize.
We'll come back to that in like episode 17.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll be better prepared.
How about a slightly more important? Oh, do you have some meaning to give?
Well, what was the question again?
Oh, what is the meaning of life?
Fun.
Oh, I like it. That band's all right, but life, meaning, okay, I get it. Okay. Slightly harder question. This place is Fireforge. Why Fireforge? Why not Firebeard? Fire Lady?
Oh.
I think the simple answer is that those have all been taken and are trademarked. Fireforge was actually like probably the 15th or 20th name that we had on our short list of brewery names when we were trying to come up with something, and they were all taken. So we just, but Fireforge worked. But actually, no, the name Fireforge kind of popped into my head as we were brainstorming things. The vision that I guess I had as we were driving through central Georgia on our way to a mountain weekend in North Carolina was I thought about the brewing process and like my little burner that I've got sitting over there, a little propane burner with the fire and the kettles and the metal and everything, and I just had this image of like, you know, this blacksmith hammering out the metal and the kettles and the stainless steel and bringing those two elements together to, you know, that's sort of the thing upon which the beer is created. So that was kind of the vision that I had for the Fireforge and bringing that together. And I think that, you know, when we discovered that the name was actually going to work from like a trademark perspective, you know, it really just kind of fits in with like, you know, you think about passion and a metaphor for passion is fire, and you know, that creativity and that handcraftedness. You know, you see the images of the blacksmith hammering, you know, on the anvil and creating something by hand, and so it really just kind of fit. I think what we thought about, you know, what we wanted to create. Do you have anything to?
No, and I think you know, also, you know, right around this time, you know, we hadn't yet decided to move back to Greenville, and kind of so there was a gnat. That's like the safest little animal in here right now. But it wasn't until months later where we were also in the process of transitioning over to making Fireforge more official, you know, for the company. We also then decided to move back to Greenville, and I feel that, you know, being closer to the mountains, being in the foothills, we can actually, like, the weather's actually cold enough from time to time that we can have fires versus being in Tampa. So I do feel that the idea of Fireforge and that feeling is actually a better fit for this geography as well. So.
I like that. Now, something that a lot of people may not realize is that I actually met you guys 2 years ago at a beer festival, but they looked the same and went by a different name. That feels like an origin story, hopefully a hero story, not a villain story. What was your old name? What was your first dream?
The original brewery name was Crossbone Brewing Company, and we changed the S's in Crossbone to an X.
Straight edge.
To confuse everyone that ever tried to say it. I can't remember the number of times people say, "Hey man, you starting Croxbone?" No, it's Crossbone actually.
Dude,
It's,
we got
like,
Crossbone or Crotchbone. Oh, it's so funny.
Well, I thought it would be like cool because you know how like Christmas is Xmas shortened. I thought people will get it. You change the S's to an X. It's like Christmas, but no. So that wasn't a good idea. Fortunately, we were saved from ourselves by another trademark that had been put into place before we really knew anything about how trademarks worked. And so we ended up deciding to change the name. So, when we were living in Tampa, where I guess the brewery first came into, put the business plan on paper was when we were living in Tampa. It kind of fit too with like the whole pirate theme and all that. And we just like pirates and piratey things. And so that's where Crossbone came from.
You are wearing a pirate bear
Oh
shirt.
yeah, by the way, I am wearing
it is
Wow.
homage to old school pre-Fireforge.
Yeah, a little.
That's why I wore my Funky Buddha shirt. I was like,
Because you were originally going to open Funky Buddha, right?
yes, and then I sold the Funky Buddha people the idea, and that's why I pretty much am a made woman. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay,
I'm
all
kidding.
right.
No, I'm just kidding. I have no affiliation.
I haven't seen those numbers in the bank account.
But no, actually, I love what they do. They're a huge inspiration, so I felt I wanted to channel some Funky Buddha this morning.
First Funky Buddha beer I ever had was no crusts. It was like a raspberry peanut butter stout.
Now,
It tasted like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Was crust spelled with an X on the end?
It's not cool, man.
Sorry, I had to.
Well, and what was cool, when we were the brewery formerly known as Crossbone, being in Tampa, we could roll in as home brewers into festivals. We were donating beer to nonprofit fundraising events. I mean, we were setting up shop. I mean, that's where we had like the festival in a box. We were just ready to go at a moment's notice and share our beer. And it was grassroots, getting the beer out to the people, and we had a big following. I mean, there are many people, back down in Florida who have these Crossbone shirts that they bought for us, which we will, like, if you wear your Crossbone shirt to Fireforge, treats are in your future. So we want that to, we want that investment to pay off. But one of my favorite Crossbone moments was when, I will not name his name, but he pretty much was like drinking our beer, and he's like, "I'm the hugest Crossboner right now." And when I
Wildly uncomfortable.
when I reminded him about a year or so later about, "I remember when you said that? That was so funny." He says, "I don't remember that." So he must have been.
He was enjoying the beer.
He was under the influence, if you will. So that was one of my favorite Crossbone moments.
That's awesome. That's a really influential beer. Future hashtag Crossboner for Fireforge. Can we make this a thing? I want to make this
My
a
pearls.
thing.
Clutch my pearls.
Sorry, it's gonna be that kind of video series.
Funny that I put that in one of our e-newsletters, and I literally got an email from my mom the next day, and she's like, "Was that a typo?" Or no, she goes, "I think you had a typo in your newsletter." And I was like, "No, sorry, Mom, that was intentional." And she was like, "Oh, okay."
The brew life is a wild life. She's got to accept that.
We like making people slightly uncomfortable,
It's okay.
but know that they will always be safe.
Always safe.
It's good.
Though slightly uncomfortable.
Fireforge,
Pushing the
officially
boundaries.
Greenville's safe place.
We should have one of those signs
Do
where
we-
you
do we
see
need it?
outside
Wait.
community centers where it's like community safe place. Like,
Yeah.
for, like,
You know, we
children.
need a safe word.
So, jeez.
If
I
we're a
don't
safe
think-
place, we need a safe word.
I don't think you understand the context of safe word.
No?
I feel you need one right now.
I need a safe
That's
word.
a different video
I think I need a safe word
conversation.
for myself. Wait,
Yeah.
never
Did we
mind.
answer
Okay,
your
so
question about Crossbone?
I feel pretty good about it.
Oh god.
Maybe
yeah,
I need
so
a
yeah,
safe
so
word to rein in
or
this
yeah, I know.
Crossboner
It's
kind of
like
experience.
yeah, seriously. But yeah, I mean, yeah, so Florida, yeah, the birthplace of the brewery idea, the
Mhm.
concept, which was I look back like almost 3 years ago. This week we started the business plan when I was in Florida. So it can take a long time to start a brewery, apparently,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when you move in the middle of it and then try to start again for the second
And
time.
you just can't seem to find the perfect mixture of things you're looking for in a location, and you're raising money.
And you sign a lease on a place and end up finding out it's not going to work, and then have to start
Yeah.
that over 4 months, 5 months in. So we've had a few starts and stops.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think that as they say in the end, it'll all be worth it. And I think really what we've got here in downtown Greenville is way more than I ever thought we would have when I
Yeah.
first started that business plan.
Mhm.
I was expecting we'd basically start out in a closet, off in like, you know,
White
the
Horse Road
outskirts of
or
town.
something.
Yeah, or some nondescript warehouse that people would feel, again, slightly uncomfortable to visit.
That's
But
when you
people
need
really-
a safe word.
But,
yeah.
we go to those places.
Oh, yeah, I
we
mean-
will go.
Like like I love Holy City down in North Charleston, and you know they're behind like a tire and auto place in, you know, not exactly a nice area of North Charleston, but like it's such a cool place.
Mhm.
And what's neat is we went to visit there a couple of months ago, was it, and realized that like the bones of their warehouse is very similar to ours, so I kind of feel like kind of kindred spirits in that sense. And if they can make it happen, then it gives me some hope that maybe we're on the right track and creating a cool environment that people want to come hang out.
That's
So
good.
that's what it's really all about. So yeah. So any other thoughts or
Goodness.
anything else the public's been dying to know?
Yeah, when are you opening? I mean, come on.
I'm dying to know when we're going to be
I mean, I was
open.
gonna wait till, episode 277 asks.
You know,
but-
it might be 277 episodes
say
before we open.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, don't joke about that kind of stuff, man.
Nah, well, we're hoping to open October-ish.
Okay.
Maybe September if things go well, but that's kind of what we're thinking is fall. We were originally hoping to be open September. Actually, on Nicole's vision board in our house, it says spring of 2017. So that didn't happen. So we were then thinking summer, and that's not really happening
Okay.
yet. Although there's still time. It's still possible.
Yeah.
We have until September 21st
To
open in the summer.
of
2017.
2017.
This is true. You technically still, spring is not over yet.
Technically
Oh, well.
speaking.
June 21st.
Yeah.
It would take an act of God for us to be open by.
This whole thing's been an act of God.
Well,
It could be a really
yes.
fast act of God.
Maybe an
Yeah.
act of Buddha.
Perhaps. Just gotta rub
A
it.
very, very, very funky Buddha.
Please, Buddha. Manifest.
But yeah, so it's definitely taken a lot longer to do this than we thought. There's just so much that goes into it, so many things you don't think about, and especially then when you go into an old building, you never know what you're going to discover. And we've had a few surprises, even though you think this is just a simple shell warehouse. Yeah, how complicated could it be? It can get pretty nuts when you start looking at, having to upgrade the electricity and the water and the sewer and going from a single tenant building to a multi-tenant building with the issues that come into play with that. So it's there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of different government agencies
Indeed.
lots of contractors.
I'm always amused, driving by and you see, real estate development signs saying Greenville Brewery. I'm like, really? Do you know? Do you really know? And yeah, so
Everybody wants
call
a brewery.
people out on that.
Everybody wants a brewery.
Because you don't know.
We came across a lot of places that people were like, oh, we'd love to have a brewery in, and then you start digging a little bit and you realize exactly what it's going to take to put a brewery in that space, and it's a lot more than most people think, because you're basically like combining manufacturing and retail in the same space. So it's more than just a restaurant, and yet at the same time it's more than just a factory. When you combine those two things, you're bringing in a lot of different elements that the space has to be able to handle both and safely and accommodate everything for everybody, make everybody comfortable. So it took us probably I think it took us about over a year from when we first started looking to when we finally signed the letter of intent for this place.
Wow.
And I think we evaluated over 60 properties in Greenville. So, before we found the right fit, and then, but even then, we've already been working on this space for 6 months, and we haven't even began construction yet. So even, once we settled on it, there's a lot of planning that's had to go into that as well. So.
Well, and I think in our case, and it might not be the case for everyone, kind of going through this process, but the cool thing is you get in really early, and so you find an opportunity that isn't even. It's like you're creating something out of nothing. Like it wasn't even it wasn't even on the market, and so that's awesome that you get in from the ground level and you can influence a lot of the planning and be instrumental in that, but then kind of the opposite side of that, it's going to take a while because you got in so early, and so it's kind of the flip side of that.
What people don't see yet, but will see, is that this room is full of really awesome stuff that you guys have brought. You've got walls and a decent floor.
Yeah.
And you filled it with some really cool historic stuff.
Thank you.
That we get to talk about on another fun fireside chat.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it'll be good.
Awesome. Well, man, I think we covered a decent.
We covered a lot.
A little bit of background and history of what we're doing, and well, I appreciate Harvin you coming out to
Thank you for
help
having me.
us a guided tour through the past,
Mm-hmm.
and we look forward to doing this again with you sometime.
Fabulous.
And I would like to thank you, our faithful audience, for bearing with us. Episode 1, not exactly a highly produced production. Perhaps the video and sound quality may not be the best, but we appreciate you bearing with us, and maybe one day we'll actually be able to afford a real camera and a producer. Humble beginnings.
I just want better cue cards. Can I do better cue
teleprompter?
cards?
I
Any
lost
cue
track of
cards?
the whole prompter thing. Yeah,
Any
it
cue
wasn't
cards?
working.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
Anyway.
yeah, cheers to
Cheers,
future
guys.
chats.
Yes, indeed.
Cheers, you guys. Thank you.
Until next time.
Cheers. That was fun.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I would just.
I completely forgot about the camera.
Yeah. Well, I was.
Oh, it's still recording. Ha!
Go away, camera.